Chapter 3 Philomena. To my wonderful sister, Philomena, I wanted to send you this message because I have something important I need you to do for me. As it stands now in my late-stage pregnancy and having a family to take care of, I cannot be there to protect Titania. I don't doubt Natalia's ability to protect Titania. I've seen her save my husband multiple times, and have even helped me in ways I've lost track of. However, despite all this, she is a tanuki, and we both know that tanukis can't be completely trusted because of how they can hide their true intentions from heart sense. Nor can Natalia heal Titania to the same degree as either of us can with love magic. I'm also aware with my heart sense that I can't completely figure it out with her tanuki heart mask illusion. And that's with me being quite potent in my magical ability and heart sense. There's a reason she was chosen for her magical giftedness in that government program, and that her selection process isn't solely based on physical strength. And if you remember correctly, her original mission was to indoctrinate Titania into doing America's bidding, should Titania return to her father's kingdom and take his place. I suspect that a similar thing might have happened, knowing with my heart sense just how deeply Titania is connected to Natalia, if her actions weren't already evident enough of that. Then there's also Finnigan. He might seem dumb and like an adrenaline junkie, but my heart sense tells me that there's a ruse and he's way more intelligent than how he presents himself. After all, kitsunes gain their tails through knowledge, wisdom, magical power, and age. And Finnigan is a seven-tails who is under the age of 200 years old. I've only met one other kitsune like that, person being the nine-tailed royal tutor of Titania when she was younger. So, be careful around Finnigan and trust your heart sense despite how charming he might be. As for Buck Ringtail, Natalia's fiancé, he is probably the least of your worries. He seems, from my heart sense can gather, very easy to read and understand. His emotional state is usually very intense, even if he doesn't show on the surface. And he probably has the strongest moral compass out of all the people traveling with Titania, with Natalia being a close second. I'm not going to try to pretend like I know what it must have been like for Natalia to choose between her own country and doing what was best for Titania. But still, this is what I need you to do for me. I need you to accompany Titania on her return to the Void Kingdom. If anyone says anything, just let them know you're the designated healer, which will actually be true. I'm sure Natalia wouldn't have a problem with it, and would probably appreciate having someone she can read the real intentions of other people, and all their deepest secrets through heart sense. I just hope it gets through to that Fox Queen, in which now I've only recently discovered that Victor has two sisters he never told me about. One which is pleasant to be around, and the other which is, let's be frank, she's a terrible person, and I can understand why Victor didn't want to be around her. But I can't deny she's a real bombshell by kitsune standards. But why does it always have to be the hottest girls that tend to be the meanest? I wouldn't be surprised if her husband regretted marrying her just because she was hot with money, and now has to deal with her every day, and good luck divorcing your queen wife. Then again, I appreciate you being the exception to the rule that the pretty girl has to be mean and self-centered. I mean, I used to envy you when I was younger because you were much more physically attractive than me, and that I had to be responsible for you being my little sister and the baby in the family, and how you got much more attention with you being the pretty girl and me Your slightly pudgy and homely and shy big sister. But I still love you as my little sister anyway. I hope my message finds you in the Fey Kingdom. Until we see each other again, please take care of Titania. Following Edenthiel's message, Philomena packed her belongings to make her way to the Kitsune Ken. After all, she helped protect Titania before, and she didn't need a reminder not to completely trust Natalia, because she remembered what Natalia's original mission was herself. She had overheard it straight from Natalia's mouth. And after hearing what Natalia was really ordered to do in indoctrinating Titania into doing America's bidding after taking King Azriel's throne, Philomena believed she would never change her mind about Natalia. Little did Philomena know that just because Natalia was ordered to do something didn't mean she was actually going to do it. It had been 2 years since Philomena had last seen Natalia. But knowing what Natalia originally tried to do sure left a sour taste in her mouth about Natalia. And this would be the hardest thing to overcome, despite knowing Natalia had saved her big sister's life multiple times and cared about her and Titania more than she did herself. Buck and Natalia. After a delicacy of a dinner at Inari's palace, Buck and Natalia leaned against each other on the balcony of their room overlooking the ocean and stars. Buck also held Natalia close with his arm around her shoulders and her paw hand in his. Natalia then asked her fiancé, "Once we're back from all this, how do you think our lives will change when we finally retired from the 50 States program?" Buck then answered, "Peaceful. With how much of our time we've spent together, I'm looking forward to spending our lives together regardless of how judgmental my mother is of you. I'd probably just get a regular stable job so I can provide for you and our future kids rather than just rely on the pension from retiring from the 50 States program. Besides, I'd probably get pretty bored not doing anything for years." "I hear you. I also want to have as many kids we can reasonably take care of properly, so your big tanuki balls are gonna get a lot of use with me as your wife." "You just said that to tease me, didn't you?" "Only half teasing. I still want to have lots of kids, though." Buck then looked at Natalia and kissed her on the cheek. "At least you still have a good amount of tanuki in you." Natalia then wrapped her fluffy ringed tail around Buck and kissed him on the cheek also. "And you make a great father, given how I've seen you raise your siblings in your father's absence. I know you do what it takes when we raise our own children. Now, it's just a matter of making a better world for them like we're doing right now. We destroy the keys of prosperity and the dark mage, and hopefully our children don't have to fight in any more pointless wars. I really know what that's like, from just a few years ago. I experienced the same thing with you. It's also why I'm trying to make a better future now, so our children have something to live for. I don't want to end up like those boomers who destroyed the futures of 4 successive generations all so they can make a quick buck, then die of old age while experiencing no consequences in this life for their actions. I only hope to God those generations after the boomers got the justice they rightly deserved. Kids shouldn't have to die in pointless wars like Iraq and Afghanistan that had nothing to do with them. I guess it's like the Dark Mage, huh? What have you gained if you gain the whole world and lose your own soul? And with a cherry on top being you didn't even gain the whole world. You don't just get nothing, but lose everything. Even with how terrible life can be at times, it's never worth losing your soul over. And even if you didn't lose your soul with dark magic and endless vices, you still can't take the power and wealth you've gained in your life with you once you're dead and judged by God. The only thing you can take with you is whatever good is on your own soul while everything else is left behind. So I'm grateful for you and Father Victor in my life to help me cultivate whatever good is still in me. And I'd like to see you cultivate that goodness in our children as well. Anyway, I hope you don't mind if we snuggle a bit. I love being close to you, and know you like it when I snuggle up to you like this. I don't mind one bit. Natalia then embraced Buck while leaning up against him until she eventually fell asleep. And seeing Natalia in such a peaceful state, he didn't move, so he wouldn't wake her. He would then fall asleep shortly after. Philomena and Natalia reunion. Following her landing at Inari City International Airport, Philomena made sure to make herself as presentable as possible, knowing she was going to see the Empress of the Kitsune Kingdom. She made sure to have her nails well manicured, lavender-scented soap after cleaning herself up, shiny golden hair down to her waist, a well-fit, elegant summer dress to complement her lean and sporty figure, and a warm expression in her face and posture. Philomena then made her way to Inari's palace to find that she keeps certain parts open to the public during the day. And then Philomena stepped into the courtyard to see if she could find Natalia using her heart sense. Philomena then happened to notice Philomena and said, "Hello, gorgeous." But Philomena could feel with her heart sense that Finnigan was playfully flirting with her, and had no intention of actually having any real romance. Philomena asked Finnigan, "And you are?" Finnigan Fennick, at your service. Well, not really at your service, just randomly flirting with vixens with no intention to actually start a relationship, and you're the first non-kitsune I've seen here today. Too many thoughts around these parts. Philomena then put her hand on her hips and tilted her head. "But do you think I'm a thought or something? That's pretty rude to assume that of people." Finnegan then put his paw hands in the air and leaned back. "Well, you're not dressed like a thought showing off every nook and cranny of her body, and you dress more like you have self-respect, which isn't very common with vixens in these parts or of the world. So, what brings you to this degenerate place out of all places?" "I'm looking for someone." "And who might that be? Have nothing to do, and 2 heads are better than 1. "I'm looking for a Tanuki girl named Natalia." "Then I can answer that real quick. She's inside where the public is not allowed. You'd need permission if you want in." "Then who do I get permission from?" "Me. Come on. If any of the Protean guards give you any trouble, they can talk to me." Finnegan and Philomena then went inside as Philomena looked all around, seeing gorgeous works of art covering the walls. She then breathed in deeply, smelling a lovely scent like rosemary. And then the carpet under her feet felt very comfy, as it was common to practice to take your shoes off when entering someone's house in the Kitsune Kingdom. Finnegan then knocked on Natalia's door and said, "Natalia, you home?" Natalia then opened the door and saw Philomena well dressed and looking good as ever, and asked, "Philly?" Finnegan then interjected, "Oh, so you two know each other. You came just in time because we're leaving tomorrow." Natalia then motioned for Finnegan to shut his muzzle and asked Philomena, "What brings you to see me after all this time?" Philomena then answered, "It's my big sister. She told me you needed a healer, and I can do that. She also told me to help you protect Titania. I may not be the best user of love magic, but I probably have the ability to boost your abilities and take care of you beyond just combat. Besides, it's probably a good idea to have an Amorian girl with heart sense to help you out in reading the real intentions and desires of people." "Are you serious about actually joining us in destroying some dark magic artifacts?" "I appreciate the gesture, but we're going to need you to pull your own weight if you're coming along with us." "That won't be an issue. I can pull my own weight just fine, like when we worked together last time." "Then come in as I let you in on the details of what we're here to destroy." Philomena then set her pretty self on the comfiest bed imaginable and said, "So tell me." And to Philomena's surprise, Natalia didn't try to hide her real feelings and intentions from her. Natalia then told her, "We're here to destroy some dark magic artifact called the Keys of Prosperity. The Dark Mage has them and most likely intends to use them to gain more power and use that power as part of remaking the world in her own image. And that's why me, Buck, and Finnegan are tasked with making sure that never happens, without starting a war that would end half of all life on Celestia. And this is where Titania comes in all this. She's the person we need to get close to King Azrael and the Dark Mage. And when we are to get close, we are going to kill them. Do you understand, Philomena? Philomena then felt a small pain in her heart and asked, "But why do we have to kill them? Can't we just spare them and hope they change their ways?" Let me tell you a little secret, Philly. For as much as I hate being forced to kill someone, out of all the options we had available, killing the Dark Mage and King Azrael are the lesser evil of the evils we were presented with. There are just some people so wicked in this world they cannot be saved, and the only thing left to do is to put them to death for the good of everyone else. And King Azrael and the Dark Mage are such people. And destroying the keys of prosperity ought to make sure they can never be used for the evil purposes by anyone ever again. Natalia then could see Philomena's sapphire blue eyes water up as she tried to console her, while gently putting her paw hand on Philomena's shoulder, saying, "If this mission is too much to ask of you, you're welcome to return to your family in the Fey Kingdom. I don't want to put you in harm's way, and we'll be fine on our own." Philomena then pulled herself together and said, "I'm still coming along anyway, but I'm not killing anyone unless I absolutely have to. That makes two of us." Finnegan could then visibly see that Philomena was having troubled emotions about what she was getting into, so Philomena uses his kitsune magic to appear as Gandalf and said,
"So, Philomena Baggins, are you ready for an adventure? Because now you are a true member of the Fellowship of the Keys."
But despite what Finnegan tried to do, Philomena was still having intense feelings about what she was getting into. So Finnegan decided to be quiet and let her be. Philomena then said to Finnegan, "I know you're just trying to help me, so thanks for letting me process this on my own." Finnegan then answered Philomena, "No problem. I'd also appreciate having you come along too." However, Philomena's heart sense could also tell he only half meant that, and the other half was that he didn't have to feel like a third wheel around Buck and Natalia with Philomena around. She could also sense he liked her in a friendly sort of way, even if not romantic. Not that she was interested in romance with a fennec fox kitsune anyway. And neither was Finnegan interested in a romantic relationship with an Amorian girl. Philomena also felt better that she wasn't the only single person traveling with Buck and Natalia that wasn't Titania, and asked Finnegan, "Do you mind if we share a room if Inari doesn't have any extras?" Philomena then put on an awkward expression and answered, "So long as this doesn't get weird or creepy, I'm cool with it. You can't just take another bed. Because I don't want to take any chances. I'm asking Inari first, even though I really don't want to see her any more than I have to." Philomena then sensed that Finnegan had something happen between him and Inari and asked, "What happened between you two?" Finnegan then looked a little embarrassed and answered, "Let's just say it was a book about farming with a hammer and sickle on the cover, and some embarrassing things surrounding that and me. I really don't want to talk about it, and would rather leave it in the past." Philomena then tried not to embarrass Finnegan any further and said, "Then it's probably best if you just keep your secrets." "You're probably right. I might just have to take Natalia's advice and learn to shut my muzzle. About your whole heart sense thing, how does that work?" "It's like I can perceive people's real motives and what they're feeling on a much deeper level than what can be perceived through ordinary senses and empathic communication. The only people it really doesn't work on are Tanukis who have mastered the heart sense and heart mask illusion, like Natalia, which means I can use my heart sense on almost everyone, including animals. I wish I had that back in the day, because it would have saved me a lot of trouble over the years. If I would have known Father Victor's real motives, I would have gained a lot more respect for him much sooner and never joined that movement in the 1940s Hulijing province where I used to live. But it's something I have to live with and learn from, and I'm better off learning from that terrible mistake than if I had not learned from it. It's also how I first came in contact with Inari, with her giving me a better faith in other people of that movement I was a part of, because I turned in its leaders for crimes against their own country, and helped destroy their evil enterprise with my insider knowledge. I normally wouldn't betray someone like that, but the leaders of that movement deserved what happened to them, because they betrayed people like me first, so they could serve themselves with their own system. I have no regrets about what I did. Philly then looked at Finnigan with curiosity. May I ask, what did your movement try to accomplish? What were their ideals? Well, my generation was nearly completely disenfranchised by the one that preceded us, and we were beaten down and mocked for just trying to survive. So, I, along with many of the youth of my generation, were radicalized and organized to seize the means of production so we could overthrow the wealthy elite and establish a classless society, built on sharing things in common and where wealth wouldn't play a significant role in the quality of someone's life. And in some sense, I still believe in those ideals, but for different reasons. What I mean to say is I was a communist for a time. And only after having been a Christian for 90 years do I realize how much communism is a dark parody of the Christian story. And because I was part of the leadership of the communist movement that successfully seized the means of production in the Hulijing province, and Queen Inari showing me some mercy is why I owe a debt to her, and why she has asked me to destroy the keys of prosperity to cancel that debt. And knowing the evil the keys of prosperity are responsible for in the Kitsune clan for centuries, I really would be doing my own kind of public service by destroying them. You sound like you really had a hard life. Do you mind if I hug you? I don't mind, just don't make it awkward. Philomena then hugged Finnigan as he thought to himself, whoever marries this girl is one lucky man. I just hope to find a kitsune like her someday. Philomena then let go of Finnigan and said, we should spend some more time together, but just as friends. I like spending time with you. Same. How about we just have our own table when Inari calls us for our honorary last delicacy before we set sail tomorrow? Me, you, and we just have a good time. How does that sound? Sounds good to me. Philomena then put on some different clothes, more fitting for a dinner with friends, even if Inari would be present at the dinner, because Finnigan made her feel more comfortable around being before the Empress of the Kitsunes. And with Inari being a pregnant mother, she didn't have the energy to care that Philomena wasn't dressed in formal clothing. Did you know this? Philomena. After much writing later, I realized that in Book 1 that Philomena was one of my favorite characters to write along with Natalia, that I thought she kind of deserved more screen time. I also think she serves as a good contrast to Natalia and good complement to Finnigan. And there's a good in-story reason why she would be accomplishing Titania as opposed to her big sister Edenthiel.